Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of my SnowRunner series. If you watched the last episode, we are in a situation where we're fairly dire for fuel, and I had mentioned that I might collect fuel from Island Lake off cam and just do a fuel logistics run. But while working out what I want to do with that, I have noticed that on the way to Island Lake there's a contract activity that can be done. I'm hoping that this White Western Star has enough fuel for it to get there, because basically there's one of the tasks requires us to pick up a curtain side trailer that's almost on the way to Island Lake. There's a slight detour, but it's not too bad. And then right inside Island Lake, as we know from previous episodes, there's a whole load of fuel, including a large 3,700 litre fuel semi that happens to also be a low saddle type trailer. So my idea is pick up the curtain sider, tow it into Island Lake, deliver it, grab the large fuel carrier with 3,700 litres minus whatever we took out, but I'm pretty sure we only visited that in the scout, so we wouldn't have taken a lot out of it. Visit that and bring that large fuel carrier back into this map, and I think that should give us plenty of fuel. That one trailer should give us plenty of fuel to finish all of the Smithville Dam tasks. So that's the plan for this episode. Little bit of a question mark over pulling that big fuel carrier back through this boggy stuff. Should be feasible. We've got the best tyres and suspension setup that this truck can take. We just haven't got the best engine yet. And because it's a low saddle trailer, there isn't an option to use the P16, because the Pacific P16 is quite limited in its add-ons and doesn't have an option to put a low saddle on it. So you have to use a low saddle, and the only two vehicles we've got that can take a low saddle is this one, which has got one fitted, and the Fleet Star, and this would be the more capable of the two for this type of mission. Still a bit of a boggy mess concern though. Stick it into high. Should be fine to get it through the rest of this. And then we've just got a detour up onto the top of that hill, right next to that antenna that you can just about see in the middle of my screen at the top, is where the curtain sider is that we've got to pick up. Oh, that's not very friendly, is it? I haven't come out of all-wheel drive by mistake anywhere. They've got plenty of fuel. Some metal beams there as well. We'll probably be coming back for them because we need those for other tasks in Island Lake. This is the right road, I think. Yeah. Slightly lost my bearings there. So this is the task, or contract rather, that would have activated and will activate the sawmill. So we could have then, if we'd have done this first, we could have used that sawmill, but I still think I preferred the way I did it. Of just ferrying some lumber in from Drummond to get the bridges working before worrying about getting past the broken bridges to fix the sawmill. So we're still okay for fuel. I'm not going to fuel up. I'm not going to go to the big trailer now. We will be driving past the Scout flatbed that we left in this map. And we'll do a drive-by refuel on that and then go and get the big trailer. Lights on and all-wheel drive because I keep forgetting that they get switched off when you go through a tunnel. Right, so let's grab a bit of fuel out of this Scout fuel carrier. So that one's not doing too bad. That's got over 700 litres left in it. And it honestly might be worth grabbing that and bringing it so that we've got fuel on the south side of Smithville Dam. So we'll push on, deliver this to the lumber mill, and then backtrack, grab the fuel trailer back into Smithville Dam. We'll take it up to the warehouse actually at the dam near the resupply zone and transfer some fuel into the fuel carrier that we've got permanently stationed there, and then move the rest of the fuel to a different spot so we've got some coverage on the map. Right, so that's that step of this task done. And then the remaining metal beam, which will probably be the trailer that we just saw at the location where we got this one from, because there's nowhere on this map to get metal beams. So that's the nearest metal beam to where we are. And then concrete blocks. I'm not sure where I'll get those from, but I'm going to worry about that later because now we're on Operation Fuel, which is going to be follow the road around here to here, up here, and grab this fuel carrier semi-trailer. Take that back. And then we can carry on. Right, so here we are. This is the carrier that we're going to be taking out with us. Got a big thing to try and imagine taking through the Smithville Dam route to quarry, but positive mental attitude will get us through it, I'm sure. or the Pacific can come and rescue us. Attach, and then just from a fuel perspective, we'll transfer some anyway. And yeah, so that's got over 3,500 litres still in it. So I think that getting this back to Smithville Dam, it still leaves plenty of fuel on this map. So we might not even end up needing to bring this back, but that should be more than enough fuel to complete the activities left on Smithville Dam. It's a fairly big thing to tow with this truck though. Look, looks a little bit out of scale. But like I say, it's the only truck. We couldn't put this on the Pacific because of the saddle type. Making it a bit hard to see where I'm going. It's so big I can barely see the truck. So make sure I know the route. I'm pretty sure it's just a case of... yeah, it is. It's just right turn here. Right turn, Clyde. I think I might be being a bit ambitious expecting this to drag this through that swamp, but we'll see. I could skip those scenes, but I quite like that little guitar bit. I think the music in this game is pretty good. I've been having a little look at whether or not there's a original soundtrack available for this game that I could use the music from the game to put over the top of time lapses to keep the theme consistent, but I can't see that the game publishers have ever released it as an OST on, certainly on Steam I can't see that, and a bit of a Google search there seems to be lots of players have recorded the music and then published it as an OST, but I don't know what the copyright rules are on something like that. I feel that it's, well, hopefully fine to have the music from the game in the background while I'm playing the game, but I think it's a different thing if you've taken a copy of the music out of the game and then using it to overdub. Don't know. So that's the route that we're going to take across this map with this trailer, he says with his most optimistic tone of voice. So all-wheel drive, probably worth just sticking it into low-high anyway, because we're going to need the diff lock for nearly all of this trip. Follow the power lines, because that does more or less follow the road anyway, or track. But more importantly, the power lines are fairly good to winch from if it does get a little bit sketchy. In a comment in a previous video, somebody mentioned that in their hard mode playthrough, they took the approach of getting a bunch of early game trucks and contracts done to stockpile enough money to then go to the Russian Federation and buy one of the big 8-wheel drive off-road Russian trucks. And it's a really good idea. It's what I would probably recommend if somebody was going to start this. Certainly in campaign mode. That truck is even better than some of the DLC trucks that you get for free. So on my campaign mode, I have like sold a DLC truck so that I could buy that Russian Azov. It's a very, very, very capable truck. It would do this easily. It would just probably come through this in high gear and not have a problem at all, because it's permanent all-wheel drive, permanent diff lock, and doesn't get stuck anywhere. I opted not to do that on this playthrough, mostly because I wanted to try and do the American maps with American trucks for as a sort of personal challenge. And that's probably a reaction to the fact that I found campaign mode far too easy with the level of trucks that you've got early game. Not that I got very far through it, but with the DLC trucks, early game is far too easy. So when I started hard mode, I did it because I wanted the challenge. And whilst that Azov would have made this a quicker series, I wanted the challenge of not having access to that type of vehicle. But I have made myself made my own life difficult for myself with that decision. And if anybody else was starting a hard mode, I would definitely go off and do that, get that truck, because the game puts there's enough challenges in hard mode without making it difficult by restricting which trucks you're going to use, really. Well, I'm quite impressed. White Western Star, you little beauty. I didn't think you would drag that. I don't think I used the winch more than twice through that little bit of stuff. Just sat there in crawler gear with the diff lock on and kept the foot to the floor, and it just dragged it right through. Good job. A little bit of twisty stuff to negotiate to get out, so let's not ruin it now. And again, visibility with a big trailer. Look at that. It's really hard to see the road and the truck at the same time with a big trailer on. Love it. Absolutely love it. Beautiful stuff. Nowhere near as hard as I thought it would be. For once, my optimism was deserved. It's quite funny. You look at the relative size of those two fuel carriers. The one on the left is 3,700 capacity. The one on the right is 2,000 capacity. You'd fit a lot more fuel than that in the one in the big truck, big trailer. But anyway, so I am going to once again fill the White Western Star. Then I'm going to completely fill the smaller fuel carrier, and then at some point we'll move this larger fuel carrier to a different part of the map, possibly to the farm, so that it's convenient for doing this northwest corner of the map until we're done. But I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do first is move it slightly out of the way. Not enough steering lock to do quite what I wanted. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Just want to put it over in this corner for a minute. That'll do. I'll leave it there. We've got plenty of fuel on this map now. I want to get on with the contract that we were unable to progress earlier because of fuel. And the Fleet Star I'll fill up in a minute, but I'm going to use the White Western Star to do this delivery of these two cargo containers. We brought these here because I didn't check the map beforehand, and this map has two warehouses on it. I didn't realise that the other one was called warehouse as well. So attach that. Engine off real quick so we got the right one activated. We are doing this one. So that requires us to take this trailer with the two cargo containers down to the second warehouse, which is down by Drummond Island. So we're going to do that next, which is basically drive this lovely snaky route all the way through the mountains. And if it wasn't for all the rocks, rubble and broken bits of road, that would be a lovely route to do in a fast car or a motorbike. But so that's the next task. And we are full of fuel. I did do that, didn't I? Yes. Wasn't too bad there to fix our fuel crisis on this map. And hopefully avoid, what I was trying to do is avoid buying fuel. I could always buy fuel on this map at $2 a litre, but I want to save. Yeah, we just brought, what, 3,500? So we just basically saved ourselves $7,000 potentially. It's quite a pleasant drive through these hills. As I've said before, I'd love the opportunity to come through with a bulldozer and get rid of these big rocks that are in the way on some of the, especially it seems to be worse on some of the asphalt bits. They've just left rocks, and if you can't push them out of the way, because if they move when you come back to the, if you reload the map, they respawn in the same position. Yeah, let's not get complacent. That's a little bit slopey. Should be alright, but let's take her steady. We don't want any mishaps like we had in the quarry. .35 mph speed limit. I think I'm safe. Road closed. Uh-oh. Perfectly safe. I was trying to pan the camera around to admire the view around this bend and thinking it'd be nice to be leaned over on a motorbike coming around that corner if there wasn't all these rocks on the road, and then I'd bash my engine into a barrier. Are we there yet? Pretty close. On the left is the trailer store for this part of the map. And then I guess this is the warehouse. Yeah, Shelled Box Warehouse. First time we visited here, I believe. Time trial starts here. That's for a future episode though. Engine off. Right, cargo. Unload 1, unload 2. Job done. So that was a main contract. So a quick look at what's left. So we got power lines and lumber mill, both of which require deliveries into Island Lake. 3 lots of metal beams in total. And then lumber mill also needs a metal beam. And we need 2 concrete blocks. And this spot that we're at now can do concrete blocks and metal beams. And the trailer we've got now can carry 2 lots of each. So I'm not going to do that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this trailer here because we are going to need this trailer here. I think I would use the Fleet Star for that, because then the Fleet Star is perfectly capable of driving through Drummond Island because it's pretty much all road. It's not too bad, Drummond Island. There's not too much rough terrain. And the Fleet Star can carry 6 slots of cargo between that trailer and its own cargo bed. Whereas at best, this truck can carry 5 slots of trailer of cargo if we bring the semi-trailer. So you might be wondering what we're doing now, and the answer is we're going to get the curtain side of the Pacific failed to pull up this hill. am going to reverse all the way down for it. So that I avoid having to turn around on a slope. Because this trailer is halfway up the hill rather than being at the bottom where it started its life. So I'm going to put it into low, high, diff lock on, handbrake off, and go. Maybe I'm going to do low, low. It's not a nice bit of terrain, is it? Because your wheels just get stuck. They're effectively wheel chocks. And there's nothing to winch yourself to on that part. Yeah. It's funny because it feels like such a simple task. But it certainly isn't. So it has moved the trailer up a bit. So that wasn't a total waste of time. Maybe repeat that a couple of times to try and get close enough to be able to winch off trees. But I am going through the fuel pretty quickly. Pulls quite well if you can get away from these rocks. Come on. You can do it. I'm probably going to need a fuel rescue though. Right, handbrake, engine off. Where is it going to be delivered? Delivered to... Oh. So it's got that busy with the vehicles we put there. I couldn't see the marker. So that's delivered to the other warehouse, which is typical. I thought it was delivered to a warehouse. I was hoping it was this one. I'm going to go as far as I can on the fuel that I've got to that other warehouse, and then if I have to run down with a pickup truck or the Fleet Star to deliver some fuel, I will. So I was just wondering, apologies for randomly stopping in the middle of, so we're down to 71 litres, and the thing I was just wondering is if I start the engine, it looks to me like that fuel gauge isn't maybe accurate. So when next time I fill this truck up, I'm going to check it, because I was just wondering if it's possible to see the fuel levels without stopping and going into the V menu, because I've got immersive mode on for the HUD, so therefore I don't see the fuel, but it looks like that's the fuel gauge. Let's just see if it goes down while I'm driving. 71 litres, will that get me back to the warehouse where I've got fuel stored up? I think I'll get close. Or we'll drive off while I'm on asphalt. Makes more sense. Save a bit of fuel. The fact that that fuel gauge on the dashboard went to 0 when the engine was switched off, and the fact that the speed and engine revs meters seem to be accurate, makes me think that the fuel gauge might be accurate as well, which is a nice attention to detail that I've never noticed before today. Yeah, that fuel gauge on the dashboard is going down. Hopefully you can see it in the center of the dash, so center of the steering wheel, the 5 small dials. It's the bottom right dial. It says fuel, but it may not be readable by the time this is rendered. Nice lighting with a bit of mist drifting across the road there with the sunset and autumnal colours. Looks quite good, doesn't it? We're fairly close. Fuel gauge is pretty close to empty on the dashboard. And I think that's the engine spluttering and coughing and not keen on what I'm asking it to do at the moment. But we are at the entrance to the yard. Question is, have we got just enough gas or vapour in the tank to get to the delivery point and a fuel carrier? Easy. Engine off. Just out of interest, how close did we go? 18 litres, like loads. One. That's that one done. And then probably need to get a little bit closer. In fact, actually, let's take it out of the other one. Keep this one full for as long as we can. There we are. Right, so that was quite a productive episode, really. Started off needing to do a fuel recovery and got some progress made on contracts while we were doing it. So that's a good outcome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. I'm going to leave this episode here, get it edited up and published, and hopefully see you in the next one. So thank you very much. Goodbye.